Evening, John from Bolton's Bits here. Got a signal I've built here. I'm going to fit it with servos. They're going to be fitted directly underneath. I'll take you through how I do it. It's not the definitive way, but it's just an idea on how to do it. These are the servos I'm going to be using. They're the cheapest I can get from Hobby King. They're only a couple of quid each. I will be fixing them to the base of the signal directly, just using some strong double-sided tape. This is stuff I'm using at the moment, although I do get other types as I find it. It's double-sided sponge tape, suitable for fixing mirrors to tiles. Very strong. You only need a little square of it. These servos come with a little tag on each side for mechanical fixing, but I don't bother with that. That gets removed. Leaving me with this. It just gives me enough extra space either side. Base plate is 50mm by 35mm, and the servos will be fixed in place directly below. First job is to check that your signal is mechanically sound and working okay. As you can see, I've got the two drive wires through the base of the signal connected to the weight bars. So let's have a look, check that the signals are okay. That one's okay. You're just checking to make sure they're not snagging on anything, and they will go to a full off and a full danger. Get them, make sure they're horizontal when they return to danger. As the servos are going to be fastened with sticky tape to the bottom, the base of the signal, you want to make sure that's clean. Any oversprayed paint or dirt or corrosion, remove. I usually do it with the fiberglass pencil, just scrub it off. That's a bit cleaner, shinier, just gives the tape a bit of a chance to stick and hold steady. Okay, so let's fix the first servo on. I've chosen roughly where it's going to go. As you can see, there's enough clearance all the way around for the signal to fit in a recess in the baseboard, and the alignment, although a bit difficult on this one, is so that the servo horn will catch the wires, and you can bend the wires up to fit into the servo horn for it to drive. So let's fasten the servo to the base. Okay, there we've got a servo there. Piece of the tape. Just fasten on the base, make sure you get it the right side, obviously. And then trim it off with a good sharp craft knife. Try not to cut your fingers off or slice the wires. Okay, that's ready to fix into position now. Peel the backing tape off. Double check your alignment. Make sure you got it where you want it to be. Press it on. And that will stay on. You can't get that off. The advantage of it is it's quick, simple, and robust. The disadvantage is if your servo fails, you have to cut it off with a craft knife to change it. And if you've got a stack of them, obviously that's going to be a problem. But these are generally quite reliable, if a little noisy. but they're good for what you need. As there's a requirement for 2 servos on here, I've prepared a second one with the sticky tape, which literally just goes on top of the first one. Again, press it hard, good strong joint, you won't pull that off. Very strong, get it right first time. Next job, of course, is to link the servos to the operating wires. It's where the little bit of the secret comes in, is making sure that these servos are definitely set in the center of their arc of movement. Normally they're set like that in a factory, but you can't be sure, especially if you've used the servo before. And these servo horns press onto the splines. You need to know that the servos are in the central position first. So how do you do that then? Okay, so servos are driven by a driver board. They can't just be wired to the electrics, because they have what's inside called a stepper motor, which is fired by pulses to move the servo horn in its arc and stop it and start it, and generally control how it moves, how fast, whether it bounces, where you want it to set in the off position or the on position. But you always start in the middle so that there's no strain on the mechanism as you're setting it up and pressing all the program buttons. I use megapoints boards, which have a program position which automatically places the servo driving shafts in the middle of their travel. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, this is my megapoints test rig for testing my signals that I've built and installed servos to. This is the driver board, powered from 12 volts. Servos obviously aren't simple things that you can just connect electricity to. They need to be driven by a driver board. And these servos just plug into these ports here, 1 to 12. It'll take up to 12. With the plug in that orientation, just plug in. That's the top one. That's the second one. We need now to verify that the servos are in the middle position. Easiest way to do that is to press the program button, which, as you program each servo to set the limits on it, it starts off in the central position. So that's the first one. Press it again. That's for servo number 2. They're both now in the central position of their travel. Before adjusting anything or doing anything else, just kill the power, and the servos will remain where they are in the central position. Okay, so it's time to connect the drive wires to the servos. You've got the servos set in the mid position, so do the same with the signal arms. Set them in halfway through their travel, or just off, so that you know everything's in the middle. That's a safe position to start adjusting your servo travel from. Okay, as you can see, I've trial fitted the servo horns to the servo spindles. I've also altered the servo horns as well. The holes in them are a little bit too large for the wire I'm using. They're about 1 mil diameter. The wire I'm using is 0.45. So I've drilled a couple of little 0.5 holes to take the wires. So I know roughly where to bend the drive wires so that they'll come through those little holes. Okay, as you can see, I've trial fitted the servo horns to the servo spindles. I've also altered the servo horns as well. The holes in them are a little bit too large for the wire I'm using. They're about 1mm diameter. The wire I'm using is 0.45. So I've drilled a couple of little 0.5 holes to take the wires. So I know roughly where to bend the drive wires so that they'll come through those little holes. Okay, I've bent the drive wires up, ready to locate into the holes on the servo horns. So thread them on through the little holes you've drilled, unless of course you're using drive wires that will fit comfortably without any slop through the actual supplied holes. Okay, once you've threaded it, slide it down onto the servo, maintaining the positions as best you can. That's it. Pull it through, bend it over. That just locates it in. Same with the other one. If I can thread the wire through the hole. With the servo horns fixed on and the wires bent down and snipped off to size, time to put the little securing screws into the holes. Okay, fasten the little screws into the spindles. Careful. Hold the servo horn to stop it rotating while you're fastening the screw up, because you don't want to buckle your signal linkages up. You can move them if they're not under power very gently. Repeat the process with the second one, obviously. So here we go then. I've got the signal set up on the test rig. Top arm plugged into port number 1 on the Megapoints driver board. Signal number 2 into port number 2. These are just a little bank of switches which fire the servos when they're adjusted. So we'll do a quick little bit of adjustment, make sure they're alright. So we fire up the board, powered on. That's the program button. Press it once, you get arm number 1. Press it twice, arm number 2, etc., all the way down to number 12. So that's number 1. Let's try the movement of it. Ooh, that's right down to there. Ooh. Keep pressing the adjustment buttons. That's a fairly good horizontal. Down to about 60 degrees. It's about the normal Great Western dip. Back up to horizontal again, double check. So that's that one taken care of. Press the program button again. Oh, that takes us down to arm number 2. So let's see where we get with that one. Use the low and the high buttons to move it about a bit. About there. Back up to horizontal. That should do us. That's the program button. Keep pressing that on 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the last one, that's it. That should take you back to 0. Both of these are now programmed and ready to try out. So with the operating switches, let's just try top one. Down to off. Back to danger, a little bit of bounce. Let's try the second one. Yeah, that's down to off. Back up to danger again. Marvellous, looking good. And just for effect, the lamps are lit. So let's see how they look. See if I've got them right. Get the green in front of the green. That's a good green on that. Back to danger again. Just on the green there. turn it around, have a look from the back. That's a view from the back. You can see the little marker lights at the back. These should, in theory, cover up as soon as the arms move to the off position. That's better, that's obscured. Showing that the signal's gone back to danger when you can see it. And there we go. One signal fitted with servos. Thanks for watching.